Hi guys, here we are again on Stream Things, talking about spirituality and spiritual stuff. Today we're going to be talking about Empaths. If you're tuning in today, I'd just like to say I love you, thanks for coming, and I'm here for you. Should anybody need anything in any particular way, just call out. Even if you want the relief of being sent energy or something like that, ear to talk to, reach out to me. I'm here for you. I know other people that would be there for you. If people are looking for guiding support, especially when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to psychic abilities, um, reach out because it can be a tough time. And everyone should have a support system, especially in dealing with stuff like that. There's not much support. I do notice a certain age range around 30 plus. It's hard to talk about this kind of stuff. They almost immediately tune it out. And I often assume it's because in their earlier years, their discovery of stuff like this, if they were to talk about it, it's the kind of idea you kind of end up in a straitjacket or in a mental hospital. A lot of people are willing to talk about it. They kind of shut it down. And I would imagine those age groups may need the most help with it, or they've just learned to cope and deal with it. I believe a lot of people just learn to push it away and push it down and just not use it or pay attention to it, or they just stay silent about it. But it's a new day, and a lot of younger individuals are opening up and talking about this stuff. And I think it's time. I think it's time we come to accept our natural abilities, speak up about them, be real with them, and not be scared to use them. You know? Today we're going to be talking, or maybe we could talk about a few different abilities today. I'm not sure. Right now, my intention was to stick with empath. So, clair empathy is what it's called. You essentially empathize with people around you. You essentially feel or match their emotions. You tend to reciprocate their energy levels. Sometimes you give off healthier, better vibed energy and take on a lot of negative energy, and that's what becomes difficult with being an empath. Is in this world we kind of have to associate with other people, and it can be rough taking on other people's energy. It may be uncomfortable just even matching other people's energy because you want to stay in your own state. It does help to practice certain emotional states, certain vibrations. It becomes more natural to you. Stick with feelings of joy, feelings of gratitude. Try to take that feeling, hold on to it. Try to sit in that energy state and practice it. If you can bring yourself back there in your mind and hold on to it, it's a great practice. And the more you practice that particular energy, this is great for vibration in general. The more you bring yourself back to that particular energy, the more likely you're going to be in that state, and you'll find you're less responsive to other people's shifting energy. You're more likely to stay grounded in your own energy. And let's talk about grounding too. Grounding, a great way to ground would be earthing. Earthing is when you have bare skin contact with the earth. You receive electrical elements from the earth. It reduces inflammation by some ridiculous number, but it helps you ground. It helps pull your energies back down to the earth. Even imagining your energies connecting, if you imagine roots coming out of your feet, and that's the thing with energy, is if you can essentially imagine it, if you can think it, it's working. It's sort of the ability of the third eye. If you can imagine it, it's happening. You can move energy throughout your body. You can send healing to particular areas in your body. This is all known by people who study Reiki also. Distance healing. San Seishonen. Han San Seishonen. That's irrelevant. Let's talk about Reiki for a second. Rei-Ki means universal energy. Ki means energy. It's the same as Chi, which is China. Ki is Japanese. And Prana, which you may have heard of if you're interested in yoga or you've practiced yoga. It's essentially your life force energy. It's what gets us to the day. Things like eating less and fasting and only eating vegetables will increase your life force energy. Deep breathing will increase your life force energy. Certain breathing practices and techniques can increase your life force energy. and you'll ultimately just feel better and be healthier. But Reiki, so if you can imagine it essentially is happening, and that's a great way to get rid of excess negative energy too. That's a great way to cleanse. If you're going to take a shower, imagine all this energy kind of falling off of you. Imagine like that shroud of gray or whatever color you want to imagine it surrounding your auric body and being washed off and just cleansing. You can imagine white light coming down from the shower head and cleansing and healing your body, and your body takes in that white light. An amazing meditation practice would be, as you slowly breathe, you start at the tip of the toes and imagine your body as like a black silhouette. And as you inhale through the toes, going a certain measure, whatever you'd like, as far or as fast and quickly as you like, you're inhaling. And as you inhale, you're receiving and pushing in white light energy. And as you exhale, imagine like a black smoke coming out of your crown chakra. This right here would be your crown chakra. That's what connects you to universal energy, I believe, and that's also like the grander consciousness, the grander whole. Excellent way to not only get rid of negative energy, cleanse yourself of negative energy, but also to reinvigorate yourself and heal yourself. If you can imagine it, it's there. And your brain doesn't understand the difference between an imagined reality and reality. You look at manifesting, you imagine it. The brain has severe influences on physics, and they've proven this. I'll do a video on that another time. Double slit experiment, go look it up if you haven't heard of it. They've done experiments with removing someone's blood, putting it into another room, and as that person feels emotion, so does the blood reacts on a certain frequency also. We'll talk about that in another video. Hopefully I'm keeping people intrigued and they're looking forward to these other videos. But empathy, clearing energy. It can be as simple as, if you feel like you've taken on a lot of energy, you feel full, or you legit just walk past this person and there's a certain vibe and you feel like you took it on and it doesn't feel good, it can be as simple as doing this. Just brush it off, shake it off, release it, brush your chest off, wherever you feel it. It depends where you're sensitive to it. Just brush it off completely and it can release. And you just need to have faith in it. Because sometimes the second you have doubt, sometimes you're like, and oh no, what if it's not working? Or oh no, what if I take it back on? You know, don't even look at that. I regret even saying it. Just have full faith in it, release it, let it go. Another great way of getting rid of negative energy is smudging. You take sage, buffalo sage, you burn it in a little bowl of some sort. They usually use shells. And burn it and let it wash over you. The way I usually do it and the way I've seen it done is you do it up over your head, over your crown, do it over your ears, do it over your eyes, do it over your mouth, and then get all your chakras. Do it over the rest of your body. You can get your arms, you can get up under your legs, just let that wash over you. That's how I was taught Reiki. Before we do a Reiki treatment, we would always take a sage bowl, sage them over first. Helps when you're doing Reiki, especially if you're an empath, because you can take in a lot of that negative energy, especially if you're not paying attention, not being aware of it. But one more way to relieve yourself of negative energy, I find this to be very effective, and I suggest it to people when I'm guiding them through meditation. If I'm feeling a condensed amount of negative energy in certain areas or just in general on their body, to help get rid of it, imagine a vacuum cleaner. What really helps me, because I always feel like the negative energy must go somewhere, simply vacuuming it allows me to think that it's just in the vacuum and now where does it go? You can always imagine you're just taking it all, crumpling it together and throwing it into a garbage bin. I always like to imagine setting that garbage bin on fire so it purifies, so it goes somewhere. So I imagine a vacuum cleaner with like its own little furnace in it, like its own fire in it. And imagine like the vacuum cleaner nozzle. I like the rectangular one, the long rectangular one. And you're going over your aura and over your body and it's sucking it up and then it's burning it away. And there's nothing but, even imagine, I like imagining uh, white energy coming out of the exhaust, and just turning it into positive, transmuting it. I think it's beautiful. You can also do that. Try to imagine taking in that negative energy and turning it into light. The more you practice things like that, the more you start becoming to do it. That's not English. The more you start doing it naturally, you can literally be a walking furnace, taking in others' negative energy and burning it. The more centered you are, the more calm you are, the more grounded you are in your current vibration, the less you take on others' energy. The less you take on, the second you're concerned or anxious or worried, especially worried about taking in that energy, it's gonna happen. And don't be concerned about it. It's a beautiful gift. It's an amazing gift. You're doing amazing things for the world just by being, just by existing, just by being around people. You're doing beautiful things. You're essentially healing people. You're relieving people of their burdens, and they desperately need it. That's what happens when one level of energy comes into contact with another level of energy. If it needs some, it takes some. And people who aren't conscious and being responsible for their own energy, it's unconscious. They're not aware it's taking place. They're not aware of doing it. They may feel better in your presence. They may notice that. Some individuals are essentially psychic vampires. They may not be aware that they're doing it. They're just in such a disposition of energy that they're always taking. It could be in their language that they're speaking. It could be toxic. They could be essentially giving put downs, making you feel less. They may not be aware of what they're doing, but they're doing it, and it has an effect on you. But it's no different than if you keep a strong, stable mind and you stay in a calm and you stay centered. It's similar with self-esteem. Their words aren't going to affect you and shift you if you're staying in a centered point. If somebody says something negative to you and you already have a strong enough opinion of yourself and you already have strong enough self-love, it's not going to throw you off. It's also not going to pull from your energy. Some people do this intentionally. There are people who intend to be psychic vampires and they do try and take energy. But it's interesting. It's like people will feel better sometimes putting you down on a psychological level, but they may not necessarily also be aware that they're feeling better on an energetic level too, because they were just able to take that from you. Oftentimes when it comes to energy and psychic vampires, people who are trying to abuse your energy, if they can make you unsure or anxious or fearful, they're able to pull energy from you. And it's the same when it comes to entities and demonic spirits that are trying to pull from you. If they can successfully make you angry or anxious or negative in general, but fearful, they can pull energy from you. They have succeeded. But you need to understand that you have full power and control. But what's the word I'm looking for? You have full dominion over yourself, over your spirit body, over yourself. Say that to yourself. Let it ground you. Nothing and no one has any power over you unless you allow it. You have full power over yourself. You can pull more energy into yourself just by thinking it. If we look around at the area around us, like look from one side of the room to the next, and imagine looking at it as if you're looking at it by pixel, by fractal. Those little minuscule integers. If you stare into space long enough, you'll see almost like little dots. You can see it on the screen right now, fuzzing around in the background. Those little dots, imagine them being atoms essentially. They're energy balls. They're energy points. There's a mass, unprecedented amount of energy around us We receive it when we breathe and we inhale. We receive that chi, we receive that prana. You can imagine that energy coming to you, recharging you. You can connect yourself to the sun and receive that energy and allow it to recharge you. When you're out in nature, you're allowed to, I don't want to say borrow energy, because I believe it's freely given and it's just there and out there. I don't think it's necessarily taking. Be careful not to attempt to take energy from other people, because it can be easily done, and I don't find that to be appropriate. That's not, we have the ability to be giving ourselves energy, to be producing energy. The only thing we should be doing is sharing energy willingly. There's no reason or excuse why we should be consciously taking energy from people. That's not right. But the energy around you, the energy from trees, the energy from plants, be open to receiving it. The energy from fire, light a candle, receive that energy, look into it, let it absorb within you. Connect to the sun, absorb that energy within you. Connect to the moon, absorb that energy within you. It's all available. There's so many things you can do to recharge yourself and uplift yourself. So once you successfully cleanse yourself of negative energy, remove it all, you can recharge yourself. That one meditation is very powerful, that white light meditation. You can imagine yourself throughout the day. Another way to protect yourself, being an empath, is imagining a protective bubble around you, protective shield. I used to like putting up a protective shield, and then the shield around that shield, I wanted to be giving positive energy. I wanted people that came into contact with that radius to be receiving positive energy, and therefore they're not in a position where they're unconsciously attempting to take energy. They're already receiving. You have your original defense force, so you're not in a point where you're spent, where you've lost all your energy. My most brilliant intention is to be able to receive, not just that, it's not produce so much energy that I can be open and unguarded and allow other individuals to receive so much positive energy that they have enough, they have more than enough, and I'm never drained. I'm never spent. I've never spent too much. It's a brilliant thing when you're hugging somebody to try and charge yourself off first and then just give some more energy. It's a brilliant thing when somebody's hugging you lovingly and you feel uplifted. It's great. Energy does trade between people, and science is acknowledging this now. You can look that up. It's an accuracy. It does happen. Sometimes maybe you don't want to be around certain environments, certain people. You may want to avoid certain scenarios just because it can be taxing to your energy. But that's another brilliant ability of an empath too, is there's that intuition. If something doesn't feel right, if a person doesn't feel right, or they're saying certain things and it doesn't sound like they're telling the truth, or it doesn't sound accurate, try to listen to your intuition. Always, I can't say always, but it's healthy to consciously, maybe as you're behaving and acting, give them the benefit of the doubt, but notice the flags and hold on to them, consider them, and you start getting too many flags, or they start becoming definite red flags. Maybe that's not somebody you really want to be associating with. Maybe that's not somebody who's very healthy for you. Now, I do understand many empaths are very loving and they try to be there for people. Some empaths attract narcissists, because narcissists are so unaware, so lacking in compassion, so in need of love, that we naturally attract each other, because empaths are naturally giving. It's leveling it out. It's like we're all coming to an energetic balance. But pay attention. There's certain individuals you may not want to associate with. And I understand empaths wanting to do more for people. It's okay. You don't have to disassociate from everybody. There's individuals that have bad days. They're not feeling very good. Maybe you're the perfect shoulder to cry on. Empaths are good at that. They're naturally good at that. It's all right to relieve some of your positive energy and get good at practicing being in different states of energy. Not necessarily practicing it, you're doing it regardless, but try to become comfortable with it. Don't allow yourself to be in that state where you feel like you need to run. Try to allow it, feel the energy, taste it for a bit, then you can consciously try to shift your own energy and either remove it or just blast your own energy. Go back to your own state so you're not vibrating at their state. But practice tasting it for a while, practice sitting in it. Allow it to give you a feel for what that individual is going through and what they're feeling. Maybe sometimes there's a certain word that you can say that allows them to just feel better, and then they shift their energy and you get to feel how amazing they feel in those next few seconds. You get to feel that amazing uplift. You get to appreciate and know that they're feeling better. They're in a more loving state, and you had influence towards that. It's part of your ability. It's part of your intuition. It's essentially what we're supposed to be doing. We have our various amounts of abilities for a reason. Now, we have essentially, each individual has all the abilities. We're just more adept and more within alignment with certain abilities, right? Where else was I? Impasse, impasse, impasse. Vibration, vibration, vibration. I think blasting your own energy could be an amazing thing. You could literally, when you get really good at it, be okay with practicing it. So there's certain things that happen sometimes. You could very well just lock eyes with somebody, and then you're already feeling their energy. It could be somebody down the street. It could be, you need to become comfortable with feeling and shifting in different energies. Try and sit in it comfortably without having that feeling like you want to crawl out of your skin or you want to be elsewhere. Try to sit in it and get good at it, because it's essentially going to continue to happen. There are ways to continue to master these things, and just try to experience it. And once we get really good at this, swimming in the waters, it's like sitting in a pool, and as you make a wave, it's going to ripple out and affects the people around you. It sits in them like it's going to hit them. They're going to receive it. And as they shift in energy, it's like a ripple back towards you. But empaths that come to practice really well, you can literally, the ones that are really adept at it, I have a friend, she feels energy on an incredible level. She can feel you when you think of her. She feels energy when she walks in the room like no tomorrow. But you can come to a point where your energy is the common denominator, where you're vibrating so hard that you can shift other individuals' energy. You're no longer lowering down their frequency, you're rising them up to yours. You can walk into a room and shift the entire room, change that entire pool. You can be that adept at it. That's an amazing ability. Be able to walk in a room and make everybody feel better, essentially heal them. That's an amazing ability. All these things that I've suggested that you can practice on yourself for cleansing negative energy and etc., you can practice on other individuals. Other ways of grounding, just literally deep breaths. Excuse me. I enjoy the practice that you imagine 3 compartments for your lungs. People in Western society don't actually breathe appropriately, properly. We're supposed to be taking complete full breaths. If you take a human adult lung and steamroll it, it's the size of 2 tennis courts. We're not using our lungs to their full capacity. So if you inhale down by your abdomen, that's one compartment, fills your stomach. Next compartment up is like the middle, and all the way up to your collarbone. We thrive on oxygen. The number one thing your body needs to heal is oxygenated blood. As you inhale, taking those deeper breaths, not only does it correct your posture, massages your organs, but it calms you. What's more important to your brain than oxygen? What's more important to your entire body? It's our number one source of energy. How long can you live without food? How long can you live without water? But how long can you live without oxygen? And we could genuinely be abusing it to feel better, feel amazing. But the calm is important. The rhythm of your breath, even just the focus on the breath, is a brilliant meditation. Don't try to focus on having to take breaths. Focus on the rhythm of your breathing. Allow the breathing, because you're going to breathe naturally anyways. Unless you're trying to practice full breathing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just pay attention to it. It's going to calm you. It's going to center your mind. There are many breathing techniques. I suggest you go and check those out. One of them that was suggested to me was as you breathe in, you're imagining it essentially go down your spine. And yeah, I don't think I have the full details on this one. You breathe in, it's going down your spine, and that's all you got. Just focus on the spine. But one thing you can do as you breathe in, imagine your legs connecting as into tree roots down into the center of the earth. And you're inhaling and you're connecting to the sun, and that energy is coming down and they're meeting in the middle. I mentioned about being able to shift other people's energy. When somebody's heart chakra, older chakras are running appropriately with energy, your chakras are energy centers in the body. It's understood by Eastern medicine. Sometimes being an empath, you'll feel the energy in different chakras. They have different effects on your psychology, on different areas of the body. They're all connected to different things, different emotions, different energy layers in your aura, different emotional. There's like your emotional layer, and there's your mental layer, and there's. What's important is their energy centers of the body. Essentially, if you look at acupuncture, what acupuncture is doing is unblocking the energy centers of your body so your body can flow and heal naturally. Every single one of your acupressure points is a chakra, but you have 7 main ones. What I'm trying to get across is essentially, so if you listen to your chakras, the more you pay attention to them, the more you're going to notice. And when you feel your chakra feel off around a certain person, or after a certain amount of words, or after a person has said something, you feel the shift, you know that's what they're feeling. So for example, if you feel that, that choking in your throat and you're trying not to cry, that's because you're not allowing yourself to express. This is about your sense of power and your ability to express your throat chakra. So essentially, let's say you're being incredibly confident or something like that, and you're suggesting like, yeah, I did this yesterday, and I got really good at this, and maybe the other individual, it causes them to feel unconfident, and they feel a lack of power, so you end up feeling your throat chakra go off, which is your understanding that their throat chakra is going off, which can be brilliant when you're socializing because you can shift them back into place, But yeah, the heart chakra, when all your chakras are in alignment and they're not overcharged, or they're not undercharged, or they're not closed, or they're not clogged with negative energy, it tends to set the heart chakra right, which is like the foundation holding them together, essentially. That's not, don't quote me on that. It's call it the centerpiece, I guess. But when they're all working appropriately and your heart chakra is completely healed and energetic, you can amplify that. And oftentimes, if your heart chakra is on point, you're already of the presence and vibration that you're healing people as you speak to them, as you communicate with them, as you pass them in the street. You're already there. We'll talk more about taking care of your chakras in another video. The next video will likely be about the chakras. It would be important for me to probably study up on them a bit, but I'll get back to you with that because it's really important information. And they're brilliant for better understanding yourself. Sometimes thinking a thought, you feel your one chakra go off, and it allows you to know that that thought negatively affected your self-esteem or something like that, which would be this chakra. So we'll get on that topic another time. Let me just think for a moment and see if there's anything else I can add about empaths or assisting empaths. I still think that the greatest assistance is learning to be centered and in a calm state of mind, unshiftable, just grounded, unshakable foundation. That sounds intense and intimidating, but a strong foundation so that you're not easily moved. And if you're recently being easily moved, it's okay because it's going to allow you to have stronger roots. It's the trees that experience the most wind that end up having the strongest roots and becoming the healthiest trees. But yeah, try to take care of yourselves, guys. Much love. Hopefully, I've provided you with some tips and tricks that can assist you. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. If there's anything I missed or anything I think of, I'll likely add it to the next video. In the meantime, though, I hope you're all doing well. Take care of yourselves. Much love. As my friend Percy would say, keep the heart shining. I believe that's very important. I might start ending my videos in that. Probably always give them credits for the quote. Yeah, guys, be good to yourselves this season. Wintertime can be a tough time. You know, it does affect our brain chemistry, but I think it brings us closer together. We all know how difficult wintertime can be. Love yourselves. Know that I love you. Understand you're deserving of love. You're worthy of love. Love yourself for me in my place. I can't reach all of you. I can't be next to all of you. I can't be hugging all of you. So please give yourself some love for me because I believe you deserve it. And with that, I think we'll wrap up this video. We'll talk again soon. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.